My name is Christito. I'm the Executive Director of the M.E.T program, and on behalf of the program, thank you so much. We're excited to share all things M.E.T. As you can see on the slide, the UC Berkeley Management, Entrepreneurship, and Technology program at UC Berkeley is a dual degree program. Each student earns a full degree from the College of Engineering and a full degree from the Haas School of Business. Currently, we have 8 different engineering tracks to choose from: Engineering Undeclared plus Business, Aerospace Engineering plus Business, Bioengineering plus Business, Civil Engineering plus Business, Electrical Engineering plus Business, Industrial Engineering Operations Research plus Business, Material Science Engineering plus Business, and Mechanical Engineering plus Business. The M.E.T candidate profile combines the following: academic excellence, an interest in entrepreneurship, leadership, technical skills, and breadth of extracurricular activities. As we mentioned, we will be recording. To get us started and kind of get everybody sort of comfortable and familiar, if you guys could just drop in the chat your name and your hometown, that would be fantastic. We are going to do some introductions. We're going to talk a little bit about why UC Berkeley M.E.T, go over the academic tracks, the M.E.T program offerings, how to apply, and then we're going to answer some questions at the end. So if we can just bounce to the next slide here. So this is our M.E.T team as it stands right now. You can see here on the top left is Shoykat Chowdhury. He's the faculty director of the program. He teaches our M.E.T special topics classes that all students take in the
Are you sharing
program.
your screen?
We are. It is sharing on my end. Can everybody else see the shared screen?
Great. Thanks for those.
Alan can, Mia
Yep.
can. Okay, cool beans. Yep, we are sharing away here. Hope you can see it. Professor Chowdhury also, as the faculty director of the program, he has the secondary role as the faculty director for the Entrepreneurship Hub on campus that sits under the Haas School of Business. Next is me, Christito. Hello, I am the career coach for the program. I've been with the program since 2018, and it has just been so fun and thrilling for me to work in this capacity. I have the honor of helping students uplift their careers, which I absolutely love. So welcome to everybody, and I will ping it over to Dawn.
Hello, everyone. I am Dawn Kramer, and I'm the academic advisor for the program. I'm really happy to see so many of you here tonight, and I'm looking forward to working with many of you in the future. I was lucky enough to help launch the M.E.T program back in 2016, and I am the go-to for all academic-related inquiries for the program, including advising, degree checks, degree plans, any updated departmental information that comes from each of the 7 engineering tracks, along with the Haas academic content changes. I'm here to help demystify course registration processes for our students, including priority registration, any tweaks or tips or deadlines or CalCentral awareness. I'm here to help. So I want to help our students graduate on time and thrive while they are here. Now I'd like to introduce Katie, who is not on the call with us today, but she is our program coordinator. Katie joined the team in September of 2022 and oversees the operational and administrative aspects of the Berkeley M.E.T program. She ensures that everything runs smoothly on a day-to-day basis and handles our space planning, facilities, and event coordination. She works really close with all of us as program staff and students, as well as colleagues across the campus. And
Next slide, we've got our amazing students, which is really the pride and joy of our program. So we have with us Mia and Alan. They're going to start by telling us their names, their hometowns, and then everything that they've been involved in. So leave nothing out, guys. We want to hear it all. So Mia, if you want to go ahead and launch in.
Yeah, sounds good. So nice to meet everyone. My name is Mia. I grew up in Sebastopol, California, which is quite a small town about an hour north of San Francisco. As Chris mentioned, I'm a bio major. I'm really excited about the field of synthetic biology and how that intersects with climate technologies and sustainability. I could go on and on about that. Here at Berkeley, I've been involved in research ever since I was a freshman, and I think I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the presentation. But that's also something I'm really passionate about. The field I'm in is quite new as far as metabolic engineering goes, and so MET has been really cool for me to be able to see kind of this intersection of how we take these like technologies that are just starting out in lab and kind of push them out into the real world to have some real world impact. So that's a bit about me. I'll also talk about clubs a little bit later. Internships, I guess I'll go over really quickly. I actually did 2 internships abroad. Sustainability and biotech is absolutely exploding in Europe right now. And so I went to London one summer to kind of intern with bioplastics. And then I was in Copenhagen last summer to do some like CO2 sequestering work, which I really enjoy. So I think I'll talk later on more in the presentation. Also happy to answer any questions kind of in that space. But yeah.
Yeah. So hi guys, my name is Alan and I'm a current junior studying mechanical engineering and this is I spend pretty much most of my energy on eVTOLs. If you don't know what eVTOLs are, they're basically flying cars and air taxis. So anything that will take you flying from, let's say, from here to your school or something in the future. So most of the time in Berkeley, I spend my time, besides taking classes, I run this club called V2 at Berkeley. It's actually run by me and a bunch of other M.E.T students. We build flying cars together and then we test fly them and then yeah, so we recently just got one test flight, but we'll see how it goes. We have a second prototype coming up. In terms of internship, I actually, well, it's about flying cars again. So I went to this eVTOL company in China where I actually got to fly on one of these flying cars. It's like one of the really big drones that you get to ride on. So I think that's one of the coolest thing ever. And also on campus, I actually bother, I don't know if you recall, but like Dr. Saikal Chowdhury, the M.E.T's faculty director, I bother him all the time about getting resources connected to me in Berkeley campus. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. So we can talk more about flying cars later.
Thanks, Mia and Alan. Appreciate it. So students in M.E.T complete 2 degrees in 4 years versus getting a master's in business administration and MBA, which takes 9 years to complete. You will engage with amazing students like yourself in this selective program. You're the brightest students, top academics from all over the world. There is no other dual degree program with 2 top 3 ranked undergrad engineering and business schools based in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley with a culture of impact. The M.E.T mission is to apply technology to solve the world's most pressing challenges in a scalable and sustainable way. Our community is about 50 admitted students per year. We have an M.E.T student board, which helps enhance the culture and student experience. One M.E.T student board member commented, M.E.T gives a small communal feel to an otherwise very large school, lifelong community from student to graduate to established alum. Our M.E.T community courses includes a first year and a junior year M.E.T specific integrated course along with a newly developed senior capstone immersive experience. We will be launching our senior capstone immersive experience for the first time ever in spring of 2025 in New York City. We have a dedicated space for students, a staff floor and a student floor in Blum Hall, and our program benefits include priority registration for 4 years at UC Berkeley, beginning spring semester for first year M.E.T students. They will be assigned the first available enrollment date and have the first opportunity to register for courses. There's guaranteed housing your first year to help ease the worry of finding housing, and M.E.T students have a dedicated staff to help you navigate the intricacies of the M.E.T program and being career ready. Other resources include a very engaged board of advisors, an established network of employers and startups who are sourcing internships and eventually job opportunities exclusive for M.E.T students. What we have seen is companies want to hire students who have deep engineering and business skills. We utilize the resources from both schools, from clubs and research centers to career services, advising to faculty. You have the benefit of 2 world-class colleges right at your fingertips. And finally, we have a pre-college summer program, M.E.T Innovation Academy, that launched in June of 2023. This 3-week residential program is for rising juniors and seniors. More information can be found about that on our website. This is just a bit about our professional development uplift. One of the things that we focus on here from the minute you are enrolled as an M.E.T student is how do we help you uplift your professional trajectory? So that evolves over the 4 years in the program, but the framework we adhere to is based on the fundamental notion: increased self-awareness plus increased occupational awareness equals better career-based decisions. In essence, the more you know about yourself and the more you know about the world of work, the better career decisions you're going to make. What we're hoping for is that you launch your career in something that is a natural extension of your personality where you're really excited to go to work every day. We help you focus on your career development journey in the following ways. You have an academic advisor, Dawn Kramer, who is here. Hello, Dawn. She helps you strategize your academic plan once you've committed to the university, and that process begins in August. Our support system includes the M.E.T team, M.E.T student board, current students, and the M.E.T advisory board members who host office hours, resources from the College of Engineering, Haas School of Business, and any auxiliary services that the campus provides. Counseling resources at the Student Health Center, the Recreation Center for Exercise, peer advising on campus, etc. Our network also includes students in the program, graduates of the program, alumni of UC Berkeley, the M.E.T advisory board, and employer partners and beyond. We help develop confidence by gently nudging engagement from academically, professionally, and personally. We encourage a great deal of employer engagement, which happens early in one's academic career with the M.E.T program. We also focus on community building, which is done with our amazing student board. Each year, a group of students choose to run for positions that represent all facets of M.E.T life. The board engages academically, socially, and professionally with fellow M.E.T students. They have many notable events such as the fall retreat. They have social engagements. They created a Big Little program. They also have an M.E.T strategy group, which consults with businesses. And therefore, at the end of your career at UC Berkeley, you would have an M.E.T family where you would have a little, etc. So on to our next slide. This is just a few of our program highlights. We had our 4 students can enter the program through our continuing admissions pipeline, which is if you're already a sitting College of Engineering student at UC Berkeley, the students would apply their sophomore year and they would get in as a junior. We also just graduated our 4th class. We have 22 students that participated in the Entrepreneurial Fellows Program, which I'll speak about in a bit. And then the number of students that engaged in internships this past summer was 86%. So basically, if students want an internship, that happens. You can see the top 10 hiring employers for M.E.T students on the left. We had Amazon, SpaceX, Apple, Google, etc. We also have many students that engage in research. You can see some of our top research sites here on this slide. Next slide. This is the class of 2024 overview. We graduated 61 students last year. Of our graduates, 61% went on to full-time employment, 30% went on to graduate schools. The graduate schools that they're attending are down below. The average salary this past year was $143,000, and you can see where the students, just a sampling of where they're working on the bottom right. Deloitte, HubSpot, Google, Databricks, SpaceX, PayPal, etc. Moving on to our next slide. Hello, Dawn.
Hi, I had to unmute myself. So thanks, Chris. As we mentioned earlier, the M.E.T program has 8 different tracks for academics, all of which earn a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and a Bachelor of Science in an engineering concentration. All of those are listed on the slide here. Again, aerospace, which is very new, bioengineering, civil and environmental engineering, electrical engineering and computer science, industrial engineering and operations research, material science and engineering, and mechanical engineering. And then for those students who are truly undecided on which engineering major that they want to pursue, we also offer an engineering undeclared option. Admitted students who select undeclared will take courses in the major or majors that they're most interested in their first year, and then they declare a major by the end of their first year. So depending on your engineering major, it will take about 140 to 150 units to complete your 2 full Bachelor of Science degrees and satisfy all the other graduation requirements required for the university. Most other majors take 120, a few more units to get their full degree. So this number, which the 140 to 150 units, could be less if you start at UC Berkeley with advanced placement or community college credits, which is a possibility for many folks. This here is just a sample of what a first-year student in the electrical engineering and computer science plus business track would take. All students in the M.E.T program will spend their first 2 years focusing on engineering requirements, breadth courses, and other foundational classes in math, science, and computer programming. again, as I mentioned earlier, exam credit is possible. So whether it's AP, IB, or A levels, that's a possibility to use for course credit. I'm just putting these in the, or putting a link in the chat to the M.E.T exam credit guidelines, so you can see if you're taking any exams or planning on taking any exams that could fulfill coursework for you. So again, this slide, fall semester, your first year, if you're an EECS student, you'll be taking computer science 61A, which is structure and interpretation of computer programs. You could potentially take Math 1A or Math 1B, or if you have exam credit, you could still go straight to Math 53. You would probably take a natural science elective. You would take UGPA 10, which is now 10X, which is Principles of Business. And then you would take the first year M.E.T Special Topics course, which is a mandatory course for all M.E.T students. And it is it counts towards business electives for your business degree. And then in the spring semester, you would take the follow-up course to 61A, you'd take 61B, which is data structures. You would take engineering 16A, which is designing information devices and systems, another math class, most likely an economics class, which is a prerequisite for your business degree. And then most likely you could be taking a reading and composition course, which is required for all majors. And then we're going to skip straight to senior year because you're just amazing and you went full speed ahead. But this is where you're really going to concentrate on your upper division courses in your engineering major and business. So M.E.T students are required to take 2 technical courses, which are STEM focused or technical courses per semester. So this is kind of where your major courses and electives come into play. You'll also take at least 2 to 3 business courses a semester for anywhere between 17 and 20.5 units a semester. Most M.E.T students take, on average, probably 16 to 18 units every semester. So it's not for the faint of heart, but it can be done. And you get a lot of support along the way. So up next, we have a summer internship slide. I don't know, Chris, if you want to chat about internships or.
So I'm just going to say that internships are alive and well at every college. Also at UC Berkeley, students seem to get internships earlier and earlier. And this is just a sampling of all the places where our students have interned. So there's always sort of like a mad rush and sort of like this frantic energy about like, I got to find an internship, and it all works out. We're here every step of the way for students. We have job hunt huddles. You can meet with me individually to go over things. So I'm just here to say that students do find internships. So I'll turn it over to our students now so they can talk about their own internship search and journey, because I think they, have had the most recent experience with that. So Mia, you want to start?
Yeah, happy to. So I can kind of walk through the different internships I've done throughout my time at Berkeley. The summer after my freshman year, I was just getting started in research, and so I actually accepted a fellowship to stay in that lab that summer and do research over the summer there. So that doesn't really count as an internship, but the next summer, as I mentioned, I went to London to do bioplastic research. And then the summer after that was Copenhagen for carbon sequestration research. Both of those similar path to getting them. As I mentioned, my field is a bit new, and so there's not a lot of big companies or set recruitment processes for me to go through. And so I actually just go about it by cold emailing. And I think M.E.T has actually been quite helpful in that, because even though I am applying for research and primarily scientific positions, I've consistently gotten feedback in my interviews and from employers that they actually find the combination of business and science, like engineering, to be quite interesting. And so that always kind of catches their eye. And I almost always get a question about that, about like, why are you doing that? Like, where do you see yourself taking this? And so that's been quite helpful. Let's see what else I can talk about. Yeah, as I mentioned, so I'm much more on the engineering science side. but I think there's a lot of really interesting ways that if you are kind of really, truly, purely half and half business and engineering, there's so many interesting ways you can combine that in internships. I have a lot of friends who go into consulting, a lot of friends who take on project management type roles. So yeah, my circumstances are a bit niche due to my field. I love the startup internships. I find them super rewarding. But I'll let Alan talk maybe a bit more about his internships. He might have some insight.
Yeah, so we're actually very similar. Me and my field is super new too. So similarly, I've been co-emailing now. So, but then because for eVTOLs, we also have a lot of trade shows. So I just go to these like academic discussions and also trade show. Like I go up to a person, I'll be like, "Hi, what's up? My name's Alan," and then I introduce myself. And I kind of show them what I build, and then like half the time they're very impressed. So obviously that move on to the actual recruitment processes. Um, Similarly, my field does not really have like some big companies, which I think. Um, but then although I could speak for my people in my eVTOL building club, we have a lot of people. They're also in M.E.T. They go to places like Zipline, like a drone delivery company. One of them went to General Motor, another one went to NASA. So yeah, I don't know like I don't know exactly what to speak about like them, but like at least for me, I just feel like combining with Chris teaching us how to co-email and like approach these people, I think it's really helpful for me to finding internships. Oh, by the way, the internship I took the past summer is called X1 They're based in China. I work as a marketing intern where I got to really talk to like every department of the company. So I got to learn a lot. And I'm planning on to intern at some American eVTOL company in engineering perspective.
So I just wanted to add that there's no expectation that students have to do an internship. It's a very popular choice for students, but students have agency over their career direction. Students want to do research, we help them in that. If students want to do summer school, they take summer school. If students want to go home and work full time, whatever they want to do, we just say, okay, fantastic. How can we help you uplift that process, whatever it may be? So just want to state that outright. You don't have to do an internship, but I think we did want to touch on the whole Berkeley. You want to go to the last slide just one sec, Don? The whole, are we going to do that? We're going to go over clubs. Got it. So tons and tons of clubs. I think we have like 300 or something on campus. So Mia and Alan, you guys want to talk about club involvement, engagement, and all that goodness?
Yeah, I can start. So I actually joined what is called a consulting club here, fall of my freshman year. And if you talk to enough Berkeley people, you will definitely hear consulting clubs come up a lot. They're quite an interesting concept. I don't think that popular across all consulting or all college campuses, but definitely a few others in addition to Berkeley. But it's kind of a cool concept. Essentially what it is a bunch of students come together. It's kind of your traditional club structure, but as a club, you're actually working on projects for companies out in the real world. And it really ranges. There's a consulting club for literally every interest. To give you an example, I'm in a consulting club called Phoenix Consulting. It is basically a biotech and healthcare consulting club. So again, an example of something that perfectly fits my interests. There's also consulting clubs that work on social impact. So that's like Net Impact Berkeley does like social impact projects. Other ones work just with startups. Other ones work with big companies. It really ranges. But the traditional structure is there's semester-long projects. They can be either technical or business. So as an M.E.T student, you're actually kind of perfectly positioned for these type of clubs in the sense that you have that engineering background to kind of understand these concepts, but you also have the business background to apply it. And so I really saw consulting clubs as the perfect way to kind of bridge these two majors. I have the research side of me. That's my more science engineering side. Consulting clubs kind of gave me a chance to exercise these business skills throughout the semesters. So as I mentioned, I joined fall my freshman year, been involved ever since. I was president last semester, served several executive board positions. And it's just a great way to kind of find a community here at Berkeley, and also get some kind of professional experience during the semesters. So happy to talk more about that, but I know Alan probably has some comments too.
Yeah, so I've probably been talking about club every time I spoke, but I pretty much spend more of my time in engineering club compared to business. I personally have not joined a consulting yet, but then so in the beginning of my freshman year, I actually joined this club called Aero SAE. They build RC airplanes, and then they do they do like competitions. I also joined another one called UAVs at Berkeley, unmanned aerial vehicles. So it's like a drone club. They also do the same thing, except they don't have like the aircraft doesn't have wings. So then and then I also got myself involved in like this research lab that focused on eVTOLs and like air traffic management logistics. But then in my sophomore year, I kind of feel like because none of them are actually building what we call like flying cars and air taxis. So I started my own club with a bunch of MET students. They're also like my ex-roommates last year. And then we started this club called VTOL at Berkeley together, and then we started designing these massive human carrying drones or like human carrying aircraft that carries 1 to 2 human to take them fly together. So that's basically what I'm doing most of the time here at Berkeley. Um, I'm also involved in this club called Association of Chinese Entrepreneurs. It's basically a club that bridges like the American societies with the Chinese like venture capital field, where that's where I got to talk to actually a lot of investors. So these investors, like in the club, I share them about my aircraft building experience, and they're like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Like we and then like they refer me to like more professionals in the field. So I think one thing really underrated about Berkeley is really the clubs, because like I feel like the club is like you're not gonna only be taking classes at Berkeley. You're gonna spend a lot of time, making connections and like develop like skills that's outside the classroom, such as building something physically, and that will be all done through the club. So yeah, Berkeley has really good clubs.
I will say to add on to that, I was really nervous about coming to such a large school. I come from a really small town, and so that kind of like it seemed overwhelming how many students go to Berkeley. But there's so many benefits to it. And one of them is that like there is a club for literally everything here. So you are bound to find something that you absolutely want to be a part of and find your people through it. So I mean, Al and I both talked about like really kind of professional or technical clubs, but there's tons of really fun ones too. I have a lot of friends. I don't have any dancing skills, but I have a lot of friends who are really talented dancers, and there's so many different dance teams. I really like hiking. There's a hiking organization called Chaos here, and they go on all kinds of like hikes and overnight camping trips and stuff. There's just literally a million clubs here, so you're bound to find something that really excites you. And if it doesn't exist, they always say that you can start one. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all. We've seen lots of different interests here in the chat. We've got Formula One, pickleball, mentorship clubs, formula racing. So definitely lots of interests here from the whole group. Thanks for sharing, folks. Okay, next steps. You've heard all about MET and you definitely want to come. So you're going to apply. The UC Berkeley or the UC application opens. It opened on October 1st and is available until December 2nd. So you're going to go through the normal Berkeley process through the UC app, and you're going to make sure you check one of the 8 engineering tracks plus business as your primary major under the Berkeley MET box to express interest in the program. For example, you'll select bioengineering plus business administration as your primary major to actually apply to the program. Then you're going to have to keep an eye on your email. Within 5 to 10 days, you should receive an email confirming that your application was received with a request for you to complete the supplemental essay. It might be different for everyone, the timing on that, depending on when you submit your app. If you submit early in the process, you'll get the email sooner. If you submit on December 2nd, it might take a little bit longer for you to get that email, but you can start working on your essay now, right? The essay question is right here. It's also on our website, so you can go ahead and take a look at that. Once everything is submitted, we will review applications, and we are looking for why you really want to be a part of the Berkeley MET program. Let's see. What we are looking for in a candidate Oh, and I didn't mention, sorry. So once anybody and everybody who submits the essay by the deadline, which is 11:59 p.m. Pacific on December 15th, will get an invitation to submit a video essay. And the video essay is required to be considered for the Berkeley M.E.T program. And the deadline for the essay is January 3rd, 2025. So, and again, you're going to get an email. So if you submit the essay by the deadline, you definitely are interested in this program and you're going to get an invitation to do a video essay. Again, the prompts are on our website under the first year admissions link, and you will have to submit that by January 3rd, right, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Correct.
So what we're looking for, first, we look for students who challenge themselves academically and are interested in the intersection of business and technology. You've heard very clearly from Mia and Alan here that they have a strong invested interest in both. You don't necessarily have to have founded your own company already or are pre-seed, seed, or series A in the startup or anything like that. You just have to be able to show that you have a true and genuine interest in both engineering and business. We look for a solid background in math and science to meet College of Engineering requirements, but we also want students to be good at critical reading and writing. It's really important. We look for strong academics and students who have demonstrated leadership in the community. That could be starting an organization, being a leader of a club or a team, or potentially starting a company, but not required. We look for students who have strong interpersonal communication skills, intellectual curiosity, and creativity. But ultimately, we're striving to admit a group of well-rounded, diverse candidates who want to learn from each other and who want to strive to make the world a better place. Just final, once you submit the app, students are notified of their candidacy to the M.E.T program, either in February or March. And then up next, this is just a look at the UC application and where you're going to find the M.E.T program. So you'll see a highlight there. Under the Haas School of Business, you'll see the Management, Entrepreneurship, and Technology program. Or if you're on the College of Engineering, you'll also see the M.E.T program. And you'll see that the degrees are different, right? So you'll see undeclared and business administration, and you'll select that as your major. So M.E.T is a unique program because it has an alternate major built into the process, meaning that the applicant's alternate major is automatically the College of Engineering major that corresponds to the M.E.T major that the applicant is applying to. So if you're applying to the Material Science and Engineering track of M.E.T, and you're no longer considered for M.E.T, you will automatically be considered for admission to the College of Engineering in the Department of Material Science and Engineering. Applicants have the option, like I mentioned, to toggle between college and category view. Default view in this GIF is the college view. You'll find M.E.T under both. You have 8 options to choose from, as we've mentioned before. And if you have any additional questions regarding the application process, we advise you to check out the application FAQs on the Office of Undergraduate Admissions website. It's pretty extensive, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat right now. So I think that's a good thing to bookmark as you go through the application process so that you can get any questions answered about specifics on the application. So that is how to apply. We now have time for some questions. I don't know if I haven't cut
So
up
or ask if you're
that.
going to be asking any questions. If you guys could go ahead and introduce yourself, say where you're from, and then make sure you're on camera. So Thomas, it looks like you're up first.
Hi, I'm Thomas. I'm from Massachusetts. For the students, what is the one thing about the program that's like, your favorite part and makes it really special to you?
Yeah, I can go first. I think it's going to sound really cheesy, but the thing that is probably the most special to me about the program is like the friends I met through it. One of the benefits that I think doesn't get talked about as much is that you get this advantage of you're coming into college and you already know like 50 people. So typically, at least what happened my year is we all kind of like made a Facebook group and started texting the summer before the fall semester started. And so we all kind of knew each other before we got there. And so it just kind of made for a really great community and honestly made the transition into college like 100 times easier, knowing that I already had these people that I could immediately just text and be like, hey, do you want to go to the dining hall together? Or do you want to study for this class? So it sets you up really well to have a support network as you kind of are transitioning into this very different lifestyle of college. And then even as a senior now, like I'm still some of my closest friends are people I met through M.E.T. My roommate who I live with is M.E.T. and I have a whole friend group that is not just accidentally all M.E.Ts. But yeah, so I think that's kind of my favorite part. But Alan.
Yeah, I agree with everything she said. My roommate is also M.E.T right now. My friend group is also M.E.T. We made a Snapchat group chat instead of a Facebook one in our year. But I say on top of that, there's also the I think the connection you'll get because like a lot of time you're interested about something, you want to find people who is like also interested, maybe a professor or maybe other students or maybe like researcher here. And then what I'll just do, I'll go to the M.E.T staff and be like, hey, so I want to find somebody who does this and that, and then and they would just kind of refer me to it. And since like we have this M.E.T, I guess like label on top of us that it's just making us more sometimes a lot more welcome than let's say regular students. So yeah, so I would just have definitely say people and connections.
So next looks like we've got, is it Shivan?
Yeah. Wait, I see where I'm from.
Yep.
I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I'm also an MET sibling. My brother goes there. My question is, does the MET essay also get reviewed as part of the single degree engineering program?
No, so you're asking if you submit the MET supplemental essay and then you're considered for candidacy for EECS only? Is that what you're asking?
Like, yeah,
Then no, the MET essay is only under review for the MET program.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Next, Anusha.
Hi, thank you. My name is Anusha and I'm from West San Jose. A question that I had, it was more so for the students. I was wondering, besides the academic courses that are offered at MET, what other outside positions besides clubs have been helpful for you to like obtain or that you've been supported to get?
Sorry, just to clarify your question, like what other positions we got through MET, or just
Yeah,
like what
so
other positions we're involved in?
Um, I think also that I know we talked about internships, but just in general, like anything else that you were involved with outside of your time when you weren't doing academic courses at MET.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I didn't talk about it too much during the presentation, so I think I can go in depth on research. I think that's probably my main commitment outside of my classes. And I think it's honestly a great example of the fact that MET sounds really overwhelming and it sounds like you're just going to be doing classes your whole time, but that's really not true. I think I'm happy to talk more about it, but like there's definitely time to do other stuff. So my two main commitments outside of classes are I'm in research. I go into lab probably 15 to 20 hours per week at this point. And then my club is another like 10, 15-hour commitment per week. So there's 100% time for other things. You don't have to be that. Like I just happen to love both those activities, so I'm willing to put in that time, but it's not necessary. Um, but yeah, research. Berkeley is a phenomenal research institution. It's one of the best in the world. So it's 100% something I recommend getting involved with. I didn't come in with a lot of research experience, uh, but I was getting advice actually throughout the summer from some MET students who we had been connected with older members in MET to kind of give us some advice on the transition. And I was talking to another older BioE and she was giving me some recommendations about what labs to
I'm
keep an eye
Tim.
out for.
Tim.
Um,
Yeah. Bob, nice to
How
meet
you
you.
doing?
um, but
it.
she was giving me some recommendations on like what labs to look into. And so that's kind of how I got my foot in the door about like, how do I go about this process? Like, where do I even start? There's a million, similar to clubs. Benefit of Berkeley being so large is there is a research group doing everything and anything you can think of. So Berkeley has not only a quantity of research that's really impressive, but the quality is really impressive. Yeah, sorry, that was a bit jumbled, but that was the first thing that came to my mind. Alan, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you, research clubs and all that. But I mean, I think that, like maybe there's misconception that since we have so many classes and we're so professional oriented, we couldn't have fun. That's absolutely false. I am in this club literally called Genshin at Berkeley because I play the game way too much. And I'm also in this orchestra where we wear cosplay for our performances. So that's definitely super fun. We have like three anime club here on campus, and then and then also I think, like outside of this like whole club academic things, we do have a lot of time to, just go outside and make friends and like go explore nature and all that. So it's 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 a it's a very fun thing to be here. It's not just all about classes or writing resumes and all that.
Think we're gonna go on to Anvita.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm M.E.T. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And my question is, besides classes, what are some of the opportunities for like M.E.T majors on different engineering tracks to sort of like work together and get to know each other?
That's a really good question. I guess I can start, but I also think Dawn and Chris are really good to answer this because they
Well,
plan a lot of those events. But yeah.
we do. We have a lot of programs and events for our current students. We host a welcome every August so that the incoming class can meet all the sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and that sophomores, juniors, and seniors can reconnect with each other after they've been away for summer. This year we had like a wood-fired pizza truck come in, and we had a big pizza party. I think we had 150 of our 200 students there, which was fantastic. Next week we are having academic peer-to-peer advising sessions because enrollment is starting for the spring semester. So upperclassmen students are coming to talk with lower classmen students, first years and sophomores, to come talk to them about courses that they took or courses they wouldn't want to take together across all the majors. And we're doing that on Tuesday and Thursday. Wednesday, we have a study abroad information center info session happening for students. So a lot of different social opportunities. I don't know, Mia or Alan, are you a part of the Big Little program through the student board? Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my big in M.E.T is actually the same person who I was mentioning recommended that lab to me. And so again, that's a really great way to kind of make those connections as far as kind of building this network of having someone who can kind of guide you and let you know like what steps to take whenever you're kind of lost. And then my little is also by me, and so I'm kind of now getting to step into that same role for her and give her some advice about here's how you get internships and like here's some cool labs to check out and things to keep in mind. So it's just kind of a really fun way. Like I think you naturally kind of mix between classes and within classes, but the Big Little program is just kind of like a cute and fun way to kind of solidify that. And we go try to get brunch at least once a semester, but more often if we can.
Yeah, for Big Little, I love my big and I love my little. My big and I, well, she kind of went through all the classes for me like most of the time, but then we just eventually became really good friends. I literally pick her up from the airport like half the time flies to Oakland. So, as for my little, we go to like Costco and 99 Ranch together to shop together. So like it's like you get to have fun while you talk about those classes and upperclassmen advice things.
I also want to add, last week we had an M.E.T alumni panel where we had 4 different alumni that came here. We had a ton of first years that were there. Every single student I talked to said, thank you so much. It was so great to hear from them. We had M.E.T alumni from all of our class years, 21 through 24. So that was really fun. We have Taco Tuesdays between different years where we pair them together and they have some tacos and it's outside of like MET cliques. It's like meeting new people all over again. And what else are we doing? We have our employer meet and greet that students show up for, which is like a big, huge, like just fest for everybody to kind of get together and like talk to companies and what have you. So we've got
Holiday
lots of stuff.
party,
Yeah, we do have a
all
holiday
kinds of stuff.
party. Yeah. Generally,
Awesome.
someone in our program is musical, and for the past two holiday parties, we've had MET students doing the music, which was super fun. So yeah, and then we're always open to new ideas. Like, hey, if we're missing something, then we'll try it out. So yeah, that's a little bit of what we got. In the best interest of time, I'm going to go to our next person, Dev, here, just to make sure we're hitting everybody because we've got about 10 minutes left.
Hi, I'm Dev. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. And I was wondering about switching majors within the MET program. So if I were to get admitted, for example, for mechanical engineering plus business, would it be possible to potentially change my major if I like have a change of heart or just like have a different interest once I get to college? Or if I apply to one of the non-undeclared majors, am I locked in for 4 years?
It's a good question. It is possible to change your major. It is not guaranteed. So we hope that you can choose the major that you are truly interested in. And if you really don't know, you should apply as undeclared so that you have that flexibility and freedom to make a choice. Because if you're undeclared, you can pick any of them. You don't have to, I mean, you have to be in good academic standing and you have to be making progress towards the degree, but you have the opportunity to choose between any of the MET tracks. If you are kind of on the fence, I want to do EECS or BioE, but I'm leaning more towards EECS, then you should choose EECS. Don't try to get into a smaller major and then switch to one that you think is more popular, because it isn't guaranteed and it's not a workaround in the application process. I'm just gonna be totally frank with you folks. I think some people may think there's a myth out there that, oh, you want to come in and you want to change your major later. You need to choose the major that you really, really want. I do know that the electrical engineering computer science program is limiting how many transfers they take. So if you want that major, you should apply from day one. Just to be totally frank. And there's a process for every single major. So if you really, you do have a change of heart and you're doing mechanical, but you're like, no way, I want to do industrial engineering operations research. Again, you have to be in good academic standing. You have to meet a GPA minimum to change. You have to be making progress in your current major, which means taking at least 2 technical courses that fulfill requirements for your current engineering major, also while taking courses that fulfill requirements for the major that you want to change into. So it's not just a checkbox, right? There's a whole process, and again, not guaranteed. I'm not trying to scare you all. I'm just trying to be very transparent because I want to make sure that you do make the choice if you know it. And if you don't, I really encourage you to go undeclared. Does that help?
Yeah, that does. Can I ask a follow-up question real quick?
I wish we could, Deb, but I've got 9
Okay.
people behind you. We have about 9 minutes left. So we're going to go 1 minute per question. So Swathi, you're up.
You can go ahead and drop it in the chat, Devin. I'll try to get to it if the next person doesn't have an academic.
Hello, my name is Swathi Karthikeyan. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I just wanted to quickly shout out, thank you so much for this wonderful session. It was definitely filled with a bunch of great information. Quick question related to the acceptance rate, especially for out-of-state students to this program. And another one was just if there's anywhere during the application process, if we can attach an expanded resume.
So in terms of admissions, we have students from all over the world. We have in-state students, out-of-state students, as well as international students. We have a mix of all different variables in our program. In terms of things that you can add to your application, there is a section that states, is there anything you'd like to add? And you can list whatever you want in that section there, which a lot of students use that time in their application to list whatever it is that you would like to add.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, Owen.
Hi, my name's Owen and I'm from Danville, California. And my question was more academic. It was, if my interests skew more towards business, can I be considered for the Haas undergraduate program? if I don't get into MET, or will I only be considered for the engineering degree?
You would only be considered for the engineering degree. There is no alternate or backup for the Haas School of Business. So if you are more interested in business and that's the way you want to go, you should definitely select that as a first year on the app. Dev just put in the chat, like, is there a way if you get into the program and you're like, nope, engineering is not for me, I want to go straight to business, you can drop a major. You'll no longer be in the MET program, but you can drop one or the other majors as long as you're in good academic standing and go to that other major only.
So you can drop the engineering major and stay in Haas?
You could, as long as you're in good academic standing.
Thank you.
Yep. Ruggiel?
Next we've got, yeah.
Hi, I'm Ridwan. I'm from Arcata, California. I was just wondering how the experience of working or taking classes with students that are single majoring in engineering or business is.
Like what the experience is like just in class.
Yeah, just like
Yeah, it's great. It's normal. It's actually quite fun to switch between. You get to interact with. I find the people in my engineering classes are quite different than the people in my business classes, and I kind of find that quite fun. I think I've developed a lot of skills about learning how to communicate and kind of translate between the two. So I really enjoy it. I think it opens your perspective up a lot to kind of interact with such different spheres of the campus. Um, I'd have nothing negative to say. They're both great types of people. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Spencer.
being bilingual. You just know the things of both worlds.
Spencer, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Spencer. I'm from Johannesburg, South Africa, but I'm currently studying in Toronto right now. And my question was more pointed towards the students, Mia and Alan. What do you think would, other than the workload, was some of the hardest challenges proposed by this program, and how did you overcome them, and how did the school help you overcome them?
Yeah. First thing that comes to mind, imposter syndrome. I think coming from a small town, I was immediately like, and I also had this preconceived notion about what an MET student looked like. I was like, I didn't start a company. Like, how did I get it? And everything Don and Chris said is true. Like, there's no true like background they're looking for. I wasn't doing academic decathlons. I wasn't winning these prestigious awards, but I was really passionate about what I was doing. So yeah, that imposter syndrome coming into such a small program was there. But as I mentioned, the community I kind of talked about early on was the first thing that kind of broke that down. And as soon as I started talking to other people in the program, they were so nice and so welcoming that it kind of went away. But yeah, I mean, it comes back, but it's mostly solved.
Thank you so much.
Same here.
Henry.
Hey, my name is Henry. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I had more of a clarifying question regarding the application process. So, say I get denied from the Berkeley MET program, does that mean I am still considered for the mechanical engineering program? And how does that factor into the part on the application where you specify your alternate major?
You do get considered for the mechanical engineering program if you're not admitted to ME plus business and MET. And what was the second part of your question? Sorry, I missed it. I was trying to answer chat.
Are you still considered for your alternate major if you're again denied for the mechanical engineering program?
No, the ME is the alternate major for MET.
Okay.
If you're ME, yeah. So if you don't get admitted to that, then you would not be admitted to UC Berkeley.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Sana?
Hi, yeah, sorry. I'm Sana. I'm from San Jose, California. I was just wondering if like my M.E.T essay also gets, or sorry, my 4 UC PIQs also get read by M.E.T admissions officers, and if they do, is it all right if there's some overlap, because I'm talking a little bit about my business and tech experience in my PIQs.
Yeah, we look at the applications holistically, so we look at everything. And I did answer, I think, earlier in the chat that we do want to see some genuine and distinctive reasons for wanting to join MET in the supplemental essay. So copying and pasting a PIQ and doing your supplemental into your supplemental essay is not going to help you. I mean, I don't know if it's fair for me to say that, Chris, but
Well, it's just, we're just looking for, like, you have an opportunity to do PIQs and we're asking for a supplemental essay. If we wanted more of the same, we would have said that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just do with that information what you will.
Can there be a theme? Yeah, but should it be cut and paste?
No.
It's an
Yeah.
additional essay.
Okay, sounds
So,
good.
yeah.
And we read everything, every single word of every single application, everything that's on there, we're gonna look at.
Yep.
See, how are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, hey, yeah, I'll try and keep it quick. I'm Sahab from Sacramento, California. I'm wondering if you could share more about the alumni program and if there are ways for alumni to stay connected with each other, but also, current students.
I got this one. So we have a thriving alumni population. I believe we have close to 200 students now. I'm working with alumni on my calendar, working with them, like whether they're doing a startup, whether they're changing jobs, whatever. We also have something called M.E.T Alumni Association, where we have a whole bunch of alumni that are banding together. They are creating their bylaws and they're making all that rain right now. So they're going to be doing something for homecoming here, and we're in touch with them all the time. I would say the alumni are remarkable. We had our employer meet and greet, and for the first time ever, we had close to 10 students that came back representing their companies to hire future METs for internships. And it was just like mind-blowingly cool for me, just watching like the evolution, the maturity, them landing like real jobs after graduation, all of it was just super duper fun. So yeah, the MET alumni are amazing. Like, we get to know students very, very well. Like, my job is to make sure I know 3 things about every student where I could say, this is why you want to hire them. This is what I think is most compelling about them. And when you get to know people to that degree, like, we stay in touch. We just saw one of our students that came back for our career panel. Dawn and I sat with her for an hour. I mean, it was just like it warmed my heart. It was like a phenomenal conversation with someone that I really respect, like, and admire. So yeah, the alumni situation is amazing. Like, I feel really grateful. They're superhumans. I realize you guys are busy folks. We're going over time. I'm going to honor the last 2 questions here. So Saranavan, am I pronouncing that right? No, help me.
Hi, my name is Saravanan.
Saravanan, there we go.
I'm San Ramon, California. And my question was to students, could you like share examples of how activities where both the business or you use both the business and engineering like aspects of MET in a project, for example?
I feel bad that I've been taking all the talking time. Alan, did you want to talk first?
Yeah, so I founded the Flying Car Club here on campus. And since you want to found something and it's a tech club, you definitely need to know the engineering part. And you also need to talk to your sponsors, how to do marketing and everything. Just a fun fact, I got actually most of my resources from doing marketing, specifically my YouTube channel. So if you search my name, you can find me on YouTube. But then yeah, so that's like, like being able to, understand all the engineering, but while you know how to tell your story to people who will potentially support you or join you, I think it's a really important skill I got off, from the business and engineering combined.
Thanks, Alan. Final question, Langjun.
Hi, so my name is Langjun. I'm from Irvine, California. And a quick questions. I've heard a lot about undergraduate internship, and there's also a lot of information about the student club organization that we can get involved in. So I realized we haven't really touched onto like the undergraduate entrepreneurship part of this MET program, like the support that we can get if we're interested in like starting a business in like a lower class, like in the freshman and sophomore year.
The entrepreneurial resources are robust. They're super thick. So we have lots. While I'm talking, Dawn, I don't know if you want to share that one slide, but we've got lots of different centers that focus on entrepreneurship and the startup community. We also have something called the Entrepreneurial Fellows Program, where our students land into an internship with the startup, and it is a funded opportunity that is made possible by our M.E.T Advisory Board. You can Google that and find it on our website. We're here to support every endeavor that students want to get into, whether it's entrepreneurship, startups, research, academics, careers, whatever you want. So yes, the resources are definitely alive and well. Yeah, that's just a little bit about our M.E.T program. And yeah, so first and foremost, I just want to say thank you all for being here today. I know that this is a challenging, stressful time for students to apply to college. There are so many choices out there. We're really grateful that you've chosen to spend some time with us to learn about UC Berkeley M.E.T tonight. There are no bad options for everybody. You will all land in a spot where you're supposed to be. So if I can just encourage you to try to like just stay calm, cool, and collected to the best of your ability. Take good care of yourself, take walks, don't get so hyped on like exactly what you're saying in your essay. Just bring your truest self to your application. Like talk about the true nature of you, be your authentic self, and I think it will bode well for everybody while they're applying. And remember, this is like a journey. We all went through it. Everybody gets in where they're supposed to go, and we wish you well in the process. I want to give a special shout out to our two students, me and Alan. You guys are amazing, total superstars. We appreciate you. I know you have midterms and all kinds of things going on, so thank you for spending the time. And any follow-up questions, you can find our information on our website, and we thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.